About a year ago, we spent 3,500 ringgit into this slider here. This is the Zeapon Micro 3E500 with the Pons PT heads, as far as I can remember. These two things are optional. You can get it in either just the slider without these two pan and tilt heads, or you can buy only the pan head, or you can get all these three things together. And then in the package, it also comes with these handlebars for support if you want to mount it on a tripod, which we will get into later. So why I'm doing this video is because I just want to talk about this slider in general. When I was researching what kind of slider that we should buy, there weren't that many reviews for this thing. A lot of them were just sponsored reviews. So after a full year of using this thing, I think I have a very holistic experience to share with you guys if you're considering to get anything from Zeapon in general. It's a Zeapon. Instead of W for weapon, you put a Z there, so Zeapon. So currently the setup is like this. We have to dismantle it, and that is why we are actually doing this video right now. What I have mounted here is a dummy battery for the camera. This is the camera that we are always using to film B-rolls, the A7C. And then all of these three components can be powered by either battery using the, what's the battery called again? The NPF970. Yeah, I don't want to rely on batteries, and that's why we have USB cables for each of the components here, which is why it's also a cable mess, but I routed everything to a 5-in-1 USB charger. So that charger will power up the camera, all these three components at the same time, which is convenient. And the cable routing is less of a hassle since I just tied it all around the tripod legs. So to get started with the dismantling, we have to take out these two things first. So slider support. When we have everything on this tripod here, it's actually not that stable if you want to use the far ends of the slider. So yeah, as you can see now that the thing is just not stable. Very not stable. We got everything dismantled, and this is the charger that I'm talking about here. It's A-Data branded, but this is something that I got as a, I think it is a door gift or lucky draw gift, but it's not created by A-Data. They just slap a brand name there. So this is the slider itself. The name E700 means that it is having this motor here. You can take it out by just doing this. And the reason why it is called E is because, of course, electrified. There is another M series of this slider which is manual instead of electrified. So usually how we do our B-rolls is by connecting everything like this, and then we can start filming stuff. The entire slider, as you can see here, there's quite some height, and this thing will bend all the way here, and then we got another piece of Aka Swiss plate here so that we can quick swap our camera whenever we need to. Technically, you shouldn't do this because it will make the whole center of gravity a bit different than what it is recommended. And usually how we use this is that when I pick up this phone here, open the Zeapon Lab app. The Zeapon Lab app, it works. Not exactly the most ideal app ever, but it's decent enough. The one problem that I have when we first got this slider is the firmware updating. For whatever reason, Android phones couldn't update it. So I had to borrow John's iPhone to update the firmware. And I forgot about firmware updating for like 6-7 months because there's totally no reminder at all. It's all manual. You have to press on it to update the firmware of each individual components here. And the update isn't exactly the fastest, but it works. So as you can see here, I need to turn on all these three things. And then in the app here, you should be able to see that I have the Micro 3 module, which is this slider here. And then the two Pons PT head. So after connecting to each of these individual heads, what we can do now is to use this interface here. We can select how fast we want it to be, And this is something that I find it to be quite annoying because as you can see here, 100% speed, of course, it will move at the fastest speed possible. But if I am adjusting a waypoint, then it will follow whatever speed that I want, which is, I find it to be rather annoying. If I'm just adjusting the in-between waypoints before I even set those waypoints, then I should be moving at the fastest speed possible, but that's something that you need to use to know why I say that's a problem. So from this interface here, I can disable panning, so I cannot pan it if I disable this. I can only tilt. It goes quite a way actually because remember the center of gravity is a lot higher than what is recommended, but the tilting still works, which is good. And then if I disable tilting, then I can pan only. So it's a rather flexible type of control that we have here. So for this demo, I'm just gonna film this Jake the dog here. And then I set waypoint B. What we do now is to select the speed. If I select the speed, then the playtime will change. I realize that if we're using somewhere near 80% plus, it will get a lot shakier. So usually I will use it at like 60, 50% and then fast forward in post-production to make it look like I'm sliding at a faster pace. Yeah, that's a trick that I use. And then you can see that the whole sliding experience here is as to be expected. It works really well. It's just that when we set more than one waypoint, it doesn't ease in from waypoint AB to BC. Okay, let me show you. So we got AB now, so I'm just gonna set another waypoint here, a short one, C. Then you can see the time here has changed to 20.83 seconds. If I play, you can see C to B, and then it stops completely, then from B to A, which is at a completely different speed. I don't know why there's no option to just smoothen A, B, C, D, E, F, because there's a total of 6 points that you can select here. If they can smoothen out all of the movements from all waypoints, it would be so much better. You can literally draw a sine curve and then it can move in a sine curve. Why? Yeah, in terms of features available in the app, it's pretty basic. We can see the battery life here, which I don't use since we are all hooking it up to a charger anyway. And then for the controls, really nothing much that we can do here. Follow focus, we don't have the module. I don't think it's available on their website anyway. Then we have video mode, we have time-lapse mode, customized time-lapse, stop motion, 360-degree panning, all of those stuff. I don't use any of this. Usually I just use it in video mode, which is what I want it to do anyway. And in summary, I think this slider is very affordable because I remember when we were looking for sliders, there were many different brands. All of them were at least double the price of this slider. So we eventually picked this because of price alone. And of course, the one thing that I think they should refine more is the app experience. Currently, it works, but I would say it's very basic. They have so much more potential to improve and implement new features to their existing hardware to bring out more value for us, which I think they should, because the app right now, sometimes I experience some bugs as well. For example, if let's just say for example, I set waypoint A, and then let's just tilt it like this, and then set waypoint B. Sometimes, if I press waypoint A, it wouldn't return back to waypoint A, like what it did now. I did press waypoint A, but it just didn't go back to its original position. I don't know why. If I change the position a bit, and then press waypoint A, yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, tiny annoyances here and there with this slider. Mostly it's the bugs. Sometimes, if I set waypoint A and B, and then I make it move, for whatever reason, the pan head doesn't get the order of moving. I don't know why, but if I press it to move once more, all of a sudden the pan head just moves. So these are minor bugs, I would say. They can be fixed. It's just that we have to be mindful of what this slider is doing. We cannot just leave it unattended. At least that's what I experience. John said there's one issue that I always experience, but I've just gotten so used to it. Yeah. So now I turn off everything. What happens is, I need to kill the app on the phone also. Let me just do that real quick. Imagine you just walk into the studio, you want to use the slider. So what do? You turn on everything. So component 1, component 2, component 3. And then the LED will change into green color. That means it is ready for you to pair. So I turn on the Zeapon Lab app now. And then you can see one of the heads just doesn't connect. I don't know why. Then you have to manually head into the heads. It's not even shown in the list here, so you have to press refresh. And refreshing doesn't do anything. So what you have to do next is to literally just turn off everything, turn back everything on again, and pray that it appears in the app. Currently, yeah, this is the exact experience that we always encounter. The second head does not appear. Overall, for the price of 3,500 ringgit, affordable, especially since you get these two heads as well, and also a motorized slider of 70 centimeters. Currently, I know Zeapon have a new slider called the Axis, and I'm not sure what's the difference between this one, but we were using this thing for like 1 whole year, so this is the experience that we have. One more thing that I realized, I'm not sure if the tripod is crooked or this thing is crooked. The thing that we filmed on that table, on the B-roll table, is slightly crooked to negative 0.8 degrees. I know this because I do this in post-production. I have to correct the thing, and I know it's 0.8 degrees off. If we're filming a laptop, the top of the laptop is totally misaligned. So I need to fix that, but as far as I can see here, there's really nothing to be fixed. It's all metal parts here. I'm not sure, but we have to fix that. It's also one of the annoyances that I encounter. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions regarding this slider, I'll try my best to answer you because this is not the usual kind of content that we do. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to like, subscribe, share this video, and also do let me know if this video helped you out. If you're considering this slider or some other brand slider, because these kind of things aren't cheap and any sort of tips will help us out a lot. So yeah, goodbye.